What's up, guys? So we finally got a She-Hulk trailer, and oh boy, is it taking over the internet, mainly due to the noticeably bad CGI, which I was very worried about when I heard this show was coming. Like, to have so many predominantly Hulk type characters in a TV show, even one funded by Disney, I'd imagine the CGI demand would be immense, okay? Although I know she won't be She-Hulk all the time, it's still a lot in my opinion, but there is time from now and August 17th when the show premieres, so I'd imagine it's still being refined. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest She-Hulk fan. I think she's dope, and I'm reading the current run, which is good, but as of right now, I'm not the most knowledgeable on the character, although in preparation for the video, I read the 2004 She-Hulk run by Dan Slott, which I believe the show will take its heaviest influence from, and that gets me very excited on just how unique and special this show can potentially be. So mainly, I'll just be giving you guys my thoughts on the trailer, talking about some of the things that I picked up on, reading recommendations, and I'll go over more of the discourse surrounding the trailer, because this show is about to change the world, more than likely for the worse. But before we do that, make sure to support your boy by hitting that sub button, turning on your notifications so YouTube lets you actually see my new uploads. Leave a thumbs up, follow my social medias, like, retweet, share, all that good stuff. Before we start, guys, I'd like if we could all just, say rest in peace to the big homie here, okay? Unfortunately, this image was taken just moments before his departure from life. Cause of death, well, explosion of the wiener and balls. Very sad. Some would say tragic, some would say, God, I wish that were me. It is what it is. Let's get into it. So first thing that sticks out to me is what Hulk said, trial by fire. In the She-Hulk comics, they're like very meta and playful with things in a way I really enjoy. She-Hulk herself is a fourth wall breaker, but I'm not exactly sure just how they'll handle that. Like, there was actual Marvel comics in that run, and in that 2004 run by Dan Slott, yeah, I know, he blocked me on Twitter too, but that run, they wove a lot of, for lack of a better term, court shit, lawyer type shit, a lawyer type beat, if you will, into those comics. One of the trials that She-Hulk participated in was actually a trial by combat, because that's how the people of a certain planet dealt with things. So maybe during the events of the show, a trial might take place where, in order to win whatever case is being held or tried or whatever the fuck happens in a court, sorry guys, I'm primarily familiar with bird law, so forgive my ignorance. Shulky will have to fight somebody and win to win the case, which we'll get more into who she's going to be fighting later on in the season. The next thing that caught my attention was the GLKH that flashes on the screen, and the whole superhuman law division, which is Goodman, Lieberman, Kurtzberg, and Holloway from the comics, the superhuman law division for New York, except I did see LA, and I think the show might actually take place in LA, so that might be a change there. And this whole organization was actually introduced in the 2004 run, which was really good, and why I'm actually recommending it to y'all. Just not recommending buying, of course, because of Dan Slott. Remember guys, I don't promote a single illicit activity on this channel ever. Anyways, in the run, this division saw over cases that had a superhuman element to it, pretty obvious. Like, when Jen first got there, it was filled with like crazy shit. Like, there was Moloids in the building, Atlanteans, even Doctor Strange was in there, involved in some case where a criminal was let go because he was under the influence of the Eye of Agamotto, just showing that that good old justice system, how great it works, which the place of Doctor Strange in that run is probably going to be taken over by Wong, since we know him and Abomination are boys, and he will be making an appearance in the show. And with Jennifer Walters being She-Hulk, not only a lawyer but a superpower being, it seems like a perfect match, right? Except the man who hired her, Holden Holloway, which I'm guessing is this guy in the trailer, wanted her to work for the firm under the condition that it would be Jen Walters and not She-Hulk working for them. And at the time, Jen loved being She-Hulk. She loved being big and powerful, and not so much being puny Jen Walters, okay? But as the series went on, it really displayed the importance of Jen Walters and how she could help without her superpowers. So that is what I'd imagine the series will touch on or display in its own certain ways. Jen will probably feel better as She-Hulk and not want to stop being She-Hulk, and in the end probably win whatever challenge she faces by being Jen Walters, or at least I'd imagine some variation of that happening. And Hulk's involvement will be helping his cousin manage her transformation like he has. I see them right here in this little cabana type area. It looks like they're in Mexico. Maybe that's where his gamma lab is. And a lot of people are claiming this show is set during the blip because of Hulk's arm. It's like fully healed, but I have no idea, to be honest, okay? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but we've seen Banner post Endgame with the sling on his arm, so I'm not sure at what point this would be in relation to that Shang-Chi post-credit scene. I guess we'll find out later, but they really need to explain explain the whole healing factor thing, because that's been an issue for a while amongst fans. My whole idea was that Professor Hulk might still have a healing factor. It's just tremendously slower than Savage Hulk due to the trade-off for intelligence. We shall see though, hopefully. As far as actual villains she'll face, it seems Jamila Jamil is the main big bad as Titania, which has a pretty interesting origin tied to a very notorious Marvel legend. No, not that Marvel legend, but the one, the only, Doom. During the events of Secret Wars, Doom transformed her and her friend into superpowered beings, which Dan Slott gives us a whole issue dedicated to Titania's unique origin and the origin of her hate towards She-Hulk. She's a true player hater, so you gotta give it up at least. Now, I see Titania has powers in the trailer, but I don't think Doom's popping up in the show. I don't think we should expect that. That might be another Mephisto type rumor that starts once the show gets closer, so be wary of that. And I don't know how she's gonna be getting her powers, but we'll just have to wait and see again. I'm guessing this will kind of be another Chronicle Man type case, you know, another Chronicle Man type beat where Titania maybe was made to feel inferior or less than by the world or even Jen, and when she gets powers she wants to show out and ends up misusing them, so She-Hulk has to intervene, of course. We also have A-Bomb in there, so I can't imagine he doesn't break out and we get some hulking action from him. We also saw Frogman in the trailer, which was odd as hell. I've only ever seen him in Spider-Man comics, so this was a bold move. Apparently there are Frogman fans out there, which I get because I love the Frogman too, but there's not really too much to Frogman. He's like a goofy Z-list hero, so it'll be interesting to see if they can pull a James Gunn and make us love this character. Again, it's super awesome to see Tim Roth back as Abomination, so I can't wait to see what he brings and how he steps it up from his last performance. And lastly, we see our boy, we're gonna call him Jeff, getting literally swept off his feet, you know, receiving that king treatment. He's legit about to fucking die, for real, about to get fucking shussied, okay? And as soon as I saw this, I knew what this would do to the discourse online, okay? All the mobby men would come out, all the mofos who like muscular women would be at attention, and then to add more fuel to the fire, this article comes out that says Marvel made her less muscular than she was originally going to be in the show, and that itself caused an uproar, which is hilarious to me, but legit, I really can't tell anymore between mofos who are just memeing now and mofos who actually want like a trend out female to come through and throw them around their house and squish their head like a fucking watermelon, which doesn't sound too bad. But in all honesty, I think in terms of physique, she looks great, okay? She looks to be the same type of body fat that Hulk is, just relative to a female. She looks how she looked when she first came into comics, so I think that's a good look. I really didn't like the physique she had in the recent Avengers comics. I felt they made her look overly muscular and like a carbon copy of her cousin, just in a bra. Although I know Thor didn't mind that shit. Yeah, She-Hulk is kind of for the streets, my boy, so you guessed it.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
As far as the She-Hulk show goes, I don't think it's on everyone's radar in the way Loki or Moon Knight or even Hawkeye was. I don't think people are as excited for this show, if I'm being honest, but I think this show has an insane potential to do what most other comic book media really doesn't. And what is that, you might ask? Actually help people. For example, they touched on the real world effects of the Avengers in Civil War and mortals living in this world amongst gods and how that affects them, but nothing really changed too much for the little guys. Like this show, I'm hoping Jen Walters actually helps people in ways other than, you know, just with the hands, okay? A perfect example is in the Snyder Cut, when Cyborg pulls all that money into that single mother's bank account. That's a real fucking change. That's gonna actually save somebody's life in a different way. So I really like that. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing intense action and battles, but I also love to see heroes helping the guy that just had his car thrown down the fucking block and his insurance is like, we're not covering that shit. Something I think uniquely the lawyers of the Marvel Universe can do. Something along the lines where Jen helps people in the case of these extraordinary circumstances through the court of law, okay? Saving a life in a different way. I don't see any other hero besides Daredevil doing that, but even at that, Daredevil is more like grounded, realistic stuff. This has a very strong superhuman element, and I think we could get really crazy, really weird, really fantastical with this, so I'm excited to see if they go this angle again. I also think Disney Plus is kind of the perfect medium for a She-Hulk show, especially with how silly the comics get. They just need to get the Fiona filter off her and make sure each of those 9 episodes are at least 45 minutes long, not including the fucking 18 hours of credit. I'm really hoping the episodes aren't short because these shows need more time to breathe. I think 8 to 10 episodes is a sweet spot. Again, the trailer was fine, nothing too incredible yet, but I think if done right, we can get something truly special, okay? But let me know what you guys thought of the trailer, whether you liked it or not, and what you're expecting to see in the show, or if you're just not that hyped for the show, maybe the show isn't for you. I feel like we are reaching a point in Marvel where there's so much content where some of the properties you might not even watch. But yeah, let me know. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.